these liberals are like, you're a bootlicker, blah, 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 because you're defending the cops. And I'm like, they're my cops. Like, it's when I hire security guards and they tell me, like, stand back, I don't go, hey, you don't tell me what to do. Like, we were driving in Phoenix, and we had this guy who's a SEAL, he's like a SEAL guy doing our security. And it was me and Brandon. And then Brandon was like, hey, you want to park? Like, where do you want to park? And then I said, it's up to him. Security guy is hired specifically to tell me how to stay safe. These cops, these agents on the ground are doing the job we voted for them to do.
That's exactly
We have asked them to do this. They have stood in harm's way on our behalf for us. And this is important. Police were trying to arrest a criminal, and these people started attacking the police. So I'm not here to play these stupid games with these psychotic terrorists. When we asked these brave men to please go out here and do this job, and they got attacked.
Well, dude, and also, you can't take the phrase bootlicker seriously because 99% of the people who use it want higher taxes. Like, all right. You know, they want more gun restrictions. They want to be told what to do.
Look, if they're throwing rocks, those are deadly weapons. Like, that is an escalation. And they're lucky that the police respond with tear gas.
Amen.
And with, you know, like rubber bullets or less than lethal means. You're throwing rocks at the cops. You're trying to significantly injure them. Like, serious bodily harm or death is what you're hoping for. If they hit a cop in the head that didn't have a helmet on, you could break his skull open. Like, you get what you ask for, man.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're asking for violence from the police.
Yeah, and like, again, aside from, I agree with you.
Well, they're starting violence.
They're starting violence. Aside from just the morality of it, it is obviously not a smart idea to throw a rock at a person who has a gun. I mean,
I don't think that they actually do have
because
guns.
then they might shoot the rock out of the sky. You know?
I think they most likely have less lethal stuff. So they have paintball guns that have.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure these guys
in
have guns, though.
Yeah, I think they.
I mean,
probably have
these
both.
guys aren't riot control. These guys were out trying to arrest criminals.
Oh, all right.
And then they got attacked by them.
Yeah, well,
This is you know what the Democrat administration did. I'm gonna go back to Elad because he made this point that I hear a lot of people on the like moderate right say, like, well, Democrats are eventually going to get back into power and you better watch out. It's like, bro, they brought in at the low end 10 million illegal immigrants who are now engaged in violence against our law enforcement trying to deal with it. If Democrats get back into power, there's not going to be a United States.
They should all be deported.
The Democrats?
Those who are violent
Agreed.
against our DHS agents.
they're not guaranteed to be immigrants, though.
No, but I think you should be denaturalized and deported if you are violent towards our DHS agents, though. I don't care about this if you were born in America.
No, I mean,
therefore, you are an American citizenship. The anchor babies are an issue. People who are advocating violence against our DHS agents are a serious issue. People who lobby for revolution are a serious issue in our country. DHS agents, I feel very bad for because there's so much fear mongering surrounding them between activists online. I cover a lot of DHS arrests, and you could tell from the comments online, the activist groups around them, likening them to Nazis, talk about shooting officers online very often on all these social media platforms. And it doesn't stop there, because then you also have Democrat politicians likening them to the Gestapo, people like Tim Walz in Minnesota and whatnot. So I foresee an increase in violence towards these agents, not decreasing it. And it makes me more sympathetic to the argument that these guys should be able to be masked, because we're seeing a ton of people dox these agents, and then they're not only seeing violence towards them in the streets, but also online and towards their families once they go home. Well, I'm ambivalent on the masking stuff.
Well, it's interesting. No, I mean, I think a lot of what you said there is right on the money. The left just murdered a moderate conservative who was speaking to college students. When you say this law enforcement agency that some fraction of the public doesn't like are Gestapo or are Nazis, what are you obviously calling for, right?
You know, I need to hit up Constantine and Francis over trigonometry again and have a follow up to our conversation from when was it, earlier in the year, right? It was like April or something.
Yeah, it was springtime.
Because I was talking about the fears of a civil war emerging, and now we've seen such a dramatic escalation
in England or here.
No, here.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, there's talk of in Great Britain as well, conflict breaking out. But I was talking to them about fear of civil war in the United States, and they made the point that most people who are unlearned on the issue make, and that is not meant to be derisive. It is most people aren't aware of how conflicts emerge. And so the point they made is actually fairly common, and it's I go outside and I don't see anything like this. So why should I assume any of this is going to happen? And it's fascinating because literally never in history has it been that a government changed and there's a revolution or a civil war because every single person in every city went out of their house and started fighting somebody randomly in the street. You would not see it. However, based on that conversation, where are we now? If you look at Chicago, it looks like we have front lines forming. The fact that DHS has now been rammed and attacked, I think this may be the third or fourth time or more. Because our news team was like, I've lost track of how many rammings we've seen attacks in Chicago. One of the most infuriating videos I've seen was DHS trying to arrest a guy who is presumed to be an illegal immigrant because we don't know the story. And this guy is screaming, Ayúdame, help me. And people run up and help him. So you've got a guy who's here illegally. We voted as Americans to remove these people and for law enforcement to do this job. And there are people attacking our law enforcement to shut that job down and help the criminals escape. That is a terrifying reality as to what's going on in this country. We voted. The will of the people be done. They're responding in places like Chicago, Portland, and the entirety of California. No. What's going to happen when Zoran Mamdani wins in New York?
Oh, man.
He outright said he's going to take $100 million from the public coffers to fund illegal immigrant legal fees. So the public taxpayer will be financing the destruction of their own home state, home city.
I mean, imagine living and paying taxes in New York right now.
I just moved to Texas.
Good call.
I just felt it.
Call, dude.
I didn't really move. The criminals forced me out. I mean,
They chased you.
well, everything. The
You ran
criminals, the wokeism, the feminism, the you can't work because you didn't get the vaccine. It was like
my
it was everything.
That was insane.
It was everything at once.
Yeah, you made the right choice.
I'd be embarrassed to live there if he was the mayor. I mean, I'd actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna say something that I probably shouldn't say, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I am not going back to Chicago anytime soon until there is clarification on the status of the politics in this country. I don't know if I can find this story. Let me see if I can. Live streamers, NBC Chicago. But when Luke Rudkowski, hey, look at this. There it is. I did find it. Luke Rudkowski and I, as well as a handful of other people, this is a very old story. Look, it's gone. Oh, here we go. Live streamers, new faces of journalism, a new breed of journalist. We got profiled by NBC5 Chicago 13 years ago. And here we go. Tell me the story. Hey, here's why I'm not going back to Chicago. May 20th, 2012, independent journalist detained at gunpoint by CPD. Chicago police tried planting drugs in our car to put us in prison.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a crazy story. And I've been having this conversation security-wise with what time it is with a lot of people. And I said, guys, in Portland, Nick Sorter was attacked by Antifa, went to the police to report it, and they arrested him. It is only because he's got a large number of followers and the Trump DOJ intervened publicly that they decided not to press charges and go after him. In 2012, when I went to Chicago, Luke Rudkowski, myself, my friend Jeff, Jess, and Luke's friend, I forget his name. You can see here, Tim Pool has been covering the NATO protests, was detained around 2 a.m. Whoa. The long story short of it is we got surrounded by 10 vehicles. I can't remember the total number. Only 2 of them were marked. They illegally pulled us out, searched the vehicle, took all of our possessions and belongings. We're trying to pop open batteries and cameras to look if there's anything inside. Wrote down credit card numbers, passport numbers, ID numbers. Then some guy came up and said, so, your vehicle matched the description. That's why we stopped you, but you're free to go. Long story short, after this, someone that we believed to be under the direction of a police informant was trying to plant Adderall in our vehicle. And only because of my experience with operational security, I was able to stop that from happening. After which, we got tips from people the police were trying to track down our vehicle, presumably because...
For Adderall? We got 3 Focus drivers here.
Yeah, it's a 4-year mandatory.
They're
minimum.
abiding by every law, blinkers on point. That's crazy.
Having a pill bottle that doesn't belong to you in your vehicle is 4 years in prison mandatory.
Jesus.
Yes, in Illinois.
I gotta go move my car.
So if that person was able to successfully plant those drugs in our car, and then we got pulled over a second time, I think what happened was the cops pulled us over hoping that they were going to find something, thinking that these guys are going to have something we can get them on. They had previously arrested, there's something called the NATO 5, arrested on terror charges because they found beer-making equipment that they accused these leftists, these are Antifa guys, they accused them of having Molotov cocktail
I thought Jimmy
stuff.
Kimmel just said Antifa doesn't exist.
It's not real.
Well, at the time, they didn't call them Antifa. These are just far leftists. Okay. So we it's a long story. I talked about it before, but basically what happened was I instructed everybody who was with us, they couldn't bring anything in the car, and anything consumable, edible, or disposable be thrown away. And the only thing they could bring with was hard equipment and clothing. And long story short, someone who we believe was under the direction of a police informant or police themselves was trying to sneak drugs into the car. And had we gotten pulled over. So where I am at right now,
That was Chicago?
that was Chicago, yeah. And Chicago's notorious for having black sites where they'll arrest, quote unquote, somebody and bring them to an undisclosed location to beat and torture them. People, like, this is Chicago, bro. You had John Burge, I think his name was. Whoa. He would electrocute people and force confessions out of them with a cattle prod or something like that. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.